So I'm going to start this video with a quick disclaimer. It's not a talking head video as such. It is a talking green screen scrolling thing. And we're going to talk about what is wrong with the gaming industry today, what's going on with it. So let's discuss. So the gaming industry itself is a very complex thing. There's a lot of different parts to it. It's not just a simple people make a game and release it sort of situation. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the different parts of the gaming industry and exactly what's going on with it and what's going wrong with it in general. So first off, we're going to talk about publishers. When it comes down to the gaming industry, publishers will pay a developer in order to make a game. One of the big issues with this is publishers have a massive say in what content goes into a game and what they don't want in it comes out of it. So in a situation where a game developer makes an absolutely awesome game, if the publisher decides that they don't want that content in it, or if there's a feature they don't want in it, they can tell the developer to remove it and they have to do it. The reason for this is because publishers pay the developers to make the game. This is the way it works. There are certain rules in place and certain stipulations that they have to follow in order for the game to release the way they want it to. What this does is actually takes a lot of the creative control away from the developers, and this is why in this day and age indie developers generally make better games than AAA studios, and this is because indie developers have creative freedom over what they want to do, so it makes it a lot easier for them to make the game they want to make without anyone getting in the way of it. So that's the first thing. The next part is the fact that when it comes down to creating games, it seems that game developers want to focus more on the graphics in the game rather than the performance or the features in the game. This is something that we've seen more recently where there's been a lot of different games coming out. I'm not going to single out any specific ones, but it's just a situation where they come out with absolutely awesome graphics, they look absolutely amazing, but the features are not up to scratch. This could be features to do with the way the game mechanics work, the controls, or even the performance of the game. These things suffer because a lot of game developers are focusing on just how amazing the game needs to look rather than how amazing the game plays. As a gamer, and I'm sure you'd agree, you don't necessarily want to see the best graphics in the world, but you want to see a game that looks good but plays absolutely amazing. You want a decent storyline, you want good sets of features, you want good customization options. When it comes down to it, game developers are losing sight with the fact that games should be fun to play, and it's not like you're watching a movie where you're just going to sit there and watch the thing and think, oh, this looks great. It's a situation where you need to be able to enjoy the gaming experience in general and be able to play it for a long period of time. And then that brings us on to the next thing, the length of video games. The playability and replayability of video games is massively going down, and that is kind of a problem when it comes to the gaming industry. You don't want to spend $70 odd or whatever on a game where you can play for 2 hours, complete it, and then there's no replayability. What everyone wants is a game like something, for example, Skyrim, where you can play the game over and over again, doing different things, picking different classes, specializing in different things to give you the freedom to kind of keep playing the game. And it goes to show with games like Skyrim the fact that it came out so long ago and people are still playing it today. Even when you have like a Game of the Year edition come out where they remaster things or enhance things or add DLC into that version of it, people are willing to rebuy it just to play it because they enjoyed the game so much. This is something that I think companies like Bethesda have got in hand when it comes to replayability and gameplay, and this is what they try to focus on. And this is something that a lot of other game developers have just forgotten about. And to demonstrate this, I will talk about sports games in general. This doesn't necessarily take one sports game into account, it's pretty much all of them. Every single year a sports game will come out. It will be a new version the next year, 2023, 2024. Primarily the gameplay is exactly the same and they haven't really done anything to change the way the game plays. They might add one or two little features into it, but primarily the game is just better looking than the previous one, and that's the only thing you're really playing for, which is kind of an issue when it comes to the fact that you're buying a whole new game for another $70 every single year just to get nearly the same experience with slightly better graphics. So overall, when it comes down to it, gameplay is the most important part of a game. Without good gameplay, you don't have a good game. And like I say, this is one of the issues that a lot of game developers have forgotten about these days. They're looking more at how good a game looks and not even thinking about the performance, to the point that it suffers and people suffer because they have to pay for that and then get something that's kind of half-assed. And that brings me to the final point of the video, which is performance. Now, performance in itself is something that is important in the game. You don't want something that's laggy and bugs out all the time, but on top of that you also have bugs and glitches and things that are in the games that get past the whole QA stage of game development. It feels like today there's so many games coming out in early access, they're relying on the community in order to do the QA for them, they don't seem to have their own QA teams really working on the games to make sure there's no bugs when it comes to release. And this is a big problem. This is a thing that can break a game, like literally break a game, when you get a game with a bug that is so bad that you can't play through the gameplay or just generally can't enjoy the game because of it. You know, Baldur's Gate 3 has been an absolutely amazing game, but there has been a bug that was in the game from release. And that bug was the fact that you were able to actually use this whole safe mode thing where you're supposed to not be able to kill enemies and just kind of stun them and essentially knock them out. And what happened is it ended up being that NPCs could be insta-killed by it, which is a massive game-breaking bug. And it did actually affect a lot of people's gameplay because they couldn't progress through the story the way they should, or even enjoy some of the features that were supposed to be in the game that were taken away because of the fact that an NPC had been killed. And of course this was due to that bug. I remember going back several years, there was a Tiger Woods PGA Tour game that came out, and one of the big problems was there was a bug in the career mode that stops you progressing through the career mode. And of course, because back then it wasn't digital releases, it was physical releases only when it comes to gaming, EA had to actually recall every single version of that game because there was a bug in it that completely broke the career mode. What this meant was that you couldn't even progress through any part of the career after like the second person you went against, and that kind of broke the game completely. So these are the issues when it comes to the gaming industry, and these are the problems that are in it. Hopefully game developers will pay attention to these issues and they will start to fix this problem and focus more on the gameplay rather than the graphics, and make quality games that all gamers can enjoy. But that is the end of my video. It's just a quick one. It's just a talking green screen thing, scrolly thing. Feel free to give me your opinion down below in the comment section. Pay attention to what's on the screen now. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button as well, and obviously that notification bell. Thank you for watching my video. I've been Green Lycan, and I will see you in the next one.